Hello everybody, this is Iced Blood. Welcome back to the World of Warcraft. Mr. Pandaria. We have to kill Ursal the Mauler today. You think we'll do it? Do you think we have the power to do it? I don't know, his name's Ursal the Mauler. He might be pretty tough. Alright, Klein. We have one quest right now. Off we go! This is probably our first example of the end of a quest chain. Probably. Usually chains end with a big final kill. It's a big climactic battle. Granted, Ursal the Mauler probably won't be that big of a deal for us because, well, we're just that good. Or it's the beginning of the game and they're not throwing too many challenges at us because they don't think we'll be able to handle it. But I'll go with the former option just because it makes me feel better. Night Saber. Oh, God. Oh well. Just means more skins for us. Yay, leather. Okay. So let's see. We gotta go up the path. Ooh, uh-oh. Going deeper into the dark, foreboding forest, to find the cleft where Ursal the Mauler has made his den. That's a den end. Spiders! Right now, enemies are not powerful enough that we really need our elemental, but he's still nice to have just because it's kind of funny. Bit overpowered, you know, and that's always fun to have. He'll probably become more and more instrumental to our general strategy as time goes on. You know, when we're dealing with monsters that take more than 2 hits to kill, which might be nice. And let's see. More scraps. Oh well, there's another quest up there from a moon priestess. Amara? Moon Priestess Amara. The road to Darkshore must be kept safe. Corrupted furbolgs from the Gnarlpine tribe have been attacking travelers relentlessly. Important news and commerce travels to and from Darkshore by way of this road daily. We cannot afford to have a rogue band of heathens terrorizing people. Take up arms in the name of the sacred forest mage. Their den lies up this northern path. Slay these Gnarlpine ambushers and report back to me. Ambushers. Ambushers. Come on, IB, you can do this. Ambushers. We got some ambushers to kill. So, while we're on our way to Ursal the Mauler, we have to kill more of his people. Because nothing says honor to your country than genocide of former allies. Well, you know, they're corrupted, so what else are we gonna do? They're not much in the way of ambushers, considering, well, we haven't really given them much of a chance to ambush now, have we? We're ruining everything. God. Up the ridge, up the ridge. Hey, there's an herb over there. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna have to double back around there, and we see that skull there on the map. That is Ursal the Mauler. Oh, he disappeared. Well, guess we're not killing him then. No, it's not that simple. He's still there, he's just hiding now. Always important to look at the mini-map and keep track of the things that it tells you. Now, here's the thing. I say that, it's important to watch the mini-map, it's important to keep track of things. But, if you are playing this game alongside me, do yourself a favor. Don't fall into the habit of playing the mini-map. By which I mean having your eyes focus entirely on the minimap, watching your little arrow, instead of actually watching your character or looking around. Because one of the biggest parts of this game, one of the biggest joys that this game has to offer is its environments. Say what you want about the graphics. Granted, it's not as impressive as, say, Rift, or Wild Star, or Terra. Anybody remember Terra? Yeah, the Korean MMO that was really big because it was stupidly beautiful. Yeah. Or what other ones are there that are big on visuals? Oh hell, you know what I mean. The more impressive, artistic MMOs, you know, they may outstrip WoW in terms of sheer graphical power, but if you look at the graphics for WoW, they hold up really well, and I think the reason for that is because of its style. It's not going for photorealism. It's not going for, you know, it's not trying to be a powerhouse, and because of that, it's not made painfully obvious just how limiting the technology is, because with other games that try for photorealism, you get this uncanny valley thing going where the longer it goes and the more impressive technology gets, the more you realize just how many shortcuts they had to make to try and make things look impressive back then. You know, for example, has anyone watching this played the first Diablo? Another Blizzard property. If you look at the first Diablo, there is one big cutscene at the very end of the game. Now, I'm not going to do spoilers or anything here, because we might just follow the Diablo series on this channel. I would not discount that possibility. But anyway, there's a big cutscene at the end of the game, and I remember when I was little, when I first played the game, and I first saw that cutscene, I was blown away. It was beautiful. Oh my god. And the same thing goes for all of the cutscenes and cinematics from Diablo 2. I thought they were gorgeous, like they were amazing. But if you look at them now, not so impressive. Now they're good for what they are, when you consider how old they are and how limited the technology was. But if you compare it to some of the stuff that Blizzard can do now, the Warcraft cinematics, I mean, by which I mean World of Warcraft, not the earlier Warcraft installments. I haven't played those, I don't know. But take the WoW cinematics or the Diablo 3 cinematics. Now, say what you want about Diablo 3. I don't want to get into that argument because it's pretty nasty territory. But if you look at the cinematics for Diablo 3, they are amazing. And see, there again, same thing goes. Nowadays, what they're doing now is amazing. And who knows, in a few years, maybe it'll look pedestrian, maybe it'll look amateurish. I have my doubts. I think we've reached a point where pretty much any game cinematic made right around here now, you're not going to get to the point where it's actually ugly. Alright, I think we've reached graphical fidelity is probably reached a point where it's not going to have a giant leap that's going to make things look, you know, hackneyed and just plain bad. Years down the road. But the whole point to this is WoW went for a stylistic, kind of cartoonish approach. Because of that, the game still manages to look impressive, it still looks good, it still looks unified, even 10 years down the line. Take any other game that's 10 years old and compare it to, like, look at it now. Okay, any 10-year-old game, any other game that came out in 2004, take a look at it. Chances are the vast majority of them are not going to look all that impressive anymore. This one still manages to. So I do think that Blizzard definitely knew what they were doing when they made this game the way that they did. And if you look at the earlier Warcraft installments, they're very cartoony as well. So really, regardless of what you might think about WoW's graphics, I do think that they were definitely faithful to the source material. Alright, so, you know, I'm not necessarily saying that any of you fine folks would dare to say that WoW is ugly, but I have heard it said that WoW is not all that impressive. I submit that it is. You've served the good people of Dalinar and Dornasis well, brave mage. As a member of the Sentinel Force of Teldrassil, I salute your efforts. Well, thank you, Moon Priestess Amara. I notice you don't actually salute me. Fine, I'll do it for you. There you go. Okay, so we've done that. We've completed that quest. Now let's use our trusty little Hearthstone. Not the card game. That joke's not going to get old. Anyway, we use a little Hearthstone, And we will tell Mr. Who was it? Oh, Bearmantle. Bearmantle had us do this. Klein, you have proven yourself a most worthy and able mage. A night elf who follows the path of honor as sure as you do is certain to find great glory in this world. Ursal's death brings safety to our once slumbering druids, but the source of his corruption yet remains within our forests. With time I trust you will find this evil and cleanse it for the sake of all our people. You are destined for great things, young mage. Well, you know, I've heard that from a couple sources. I'm not entirely convinced. But, oh well. That'll work. Let's clean out our bags a little bit. We've still got plenty of room, but we might as well do it since we're right here. Not much in the way of impressive money making just yet, but, you know. Hey, wait a second. We haven't put those on. There we go. Little bit of an upgrade. Not much. Really not all that important. Probably isn't going to make or break us. But, you know, might as well. Some extra points in armor. So, I think that will do it. Alright. Yeah, we'll do it that way. Alrighty. Cleanup done. Let's see what this quest is here. Blade Leaf again? What could Blade Leaf need?
What brings you here?
Are you heading to the south? To Lake Alameth? If so, then I have a task I might ask of you. My colleague, Danilin, has a camp along the eastern end of the lake, where he's studying and experimenting on the plant life of Teldrassil. He requested a package of rare earths from Darkshore, and it was late, only recently arriving here in Dolinar. Can you take the package to him? Well, I guess. We didn't have a specific place we were going to go, so I guess south is as good a direction as any. We're going where the quests are, so if the quest line has us go in a random direction, well, we'll just go in that random direction. Now, down here toward the lake that we're heading for, we're going to run into some creatures that we can actually harvest for stuff, because they are basically little plant elementals. You can see one right there in the distance right there. He's a little plant elemental. And because we are herbalists, we are an herbalist. I am, Klein is, whatever. We picked up herbalism. We are able to actually harvest them after we have looted them. Same as how we can skin a beast when we've looted them. Now the thing is, we don't seem to get points for it, and we don't seem to get actual herbs, so it is not particularly useful, I would say. Now, granted, it is kind of one of those things where you might as well. There's no real reason not to. I mean, it only takes up a couple of seconds, and that doesn't really make too much of a difference. But then again, a second or two per enemy, depending on how long you're in an area fighting things, could make a substantial difference. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to be so efficient that this, you know, couple seconds matters so much. But, you know, I'm not entirely sure if it's worth it. Now, if you're playing your first character and you don't have much in the way of money, I mean, granted, I've been playing for, you know, going on 8-9 years now, and I don't have much in the way of money. But I have at least, you know, I think 1,000 or so gold is what I have at this point. And I think I had, like, up to 5,000 at one point. I forget what I bought. It was probably the heirloom gear, because that's actually a pretty substantial chunk of change for someone like me, who hasn't really gone into much effort in terms of, like, real serious money making. Because plenty of people have a ton of money. It's kind of one of the biggest things that has evolved as the game has gone on. Aside from the leveling experience and raiding, money making is big too. Anyway, let's see. Do you have something for me? Yes, I do, Denlin. Ah, it's here. I've waited for this rare earth for quite some time. Hope it's still fresh. Thank you for bringing it to me. You are a night elf who is generous with her time. Yes, I am, and you'd better appreciate it. He's placing the rare earth in his planter. How nice. Thank you again. Well, you're welcome again. Now, I think you have another quest for me, so let's get to it. Come on, there we go. Ooh, 2. Look at that. The Timberlings of Teldrassil are elementals of nature. There we go. In some ways, they reflect the natural order of plants and animals on our great tree. So, it is disturbing to see how angry the Timberlings are, particularly considering that things should be healing. I want to help hunt down the source. I have been working on different methods of nurturing plants and would like to try them on Timberling seeds. Please, can you gather seeds from Timberlings around Lake Alameth and bring them to me? Alrighty, fine. We'll pick up some Timberling seeds. Let's see about the Timberling sprouts. Okay. Small Timberlings are sprouting around the waters of Lake Alameth. I'm afraid these sprouts are beyond help. We should try to clear them from the land before they grow large enough to cause trouble. When you're wandering the lake, if you see any Timberling sprouts, please take them. Help keep our land clean. Of course. We gotta stay green, right? Alright, so. Global warming! Or whatever. I don't know. I'm not very topical when it comes to politics. There's the seeds, or there's the sprouts. So the seeds are from the Timberlings themselves. Alrighty. Now see, like I said, we're in the beginning stages, and the heirloom gear makes the first handful of levels kind of ridiculous. There's almost no way to die when you have full heirloom gear, at least for a good, I don't know, 10, 20 levels. Probably pretty much until you reach the part where the heirlooms are no longer effective. Dying outside of a dungeon is somewhat difficult unless you're actually reckless, and I've never been what you'd call a reckless player, so I don't think we're going to have much trouble with actually dying in this playthrough. Now, of course, I say this now, before we've yet to run into any kind of real challenge, and like I've mentioned before, I've never played a mage before, so for all I know, I could be eating those words much sooner than later. But I think it's safe to say, especially with all this gear, we're not going to run into much in the way of trouble for quite some time. I can't remember the last time I ran into a challenge that was so difficult that I just kept dying. So unlike, say, a game like BioShock, where no matter how many times I threw myself at a certain thing, I just kept dying until, luck decided to favor me, or whatever it might be. I don't think we're going to run into that problem here, so don't expect to meet the spirit healer anytime soon. Now, having said that, I'm probably going to die in a very stupid way before the end of this video, probably. Because, that's just how the world seems to work. But anyway, looks like the Timberling seeds are somewhat rare. Then again, we only need 6 of them, so I guess it balances out a bit. Let's see, there's 3, that means we're halfway there. Okay, so there's another sprout. Pick up the sprout, and let's see if this gives us a seed as well. Look at that water elemental. We're near a river. It's your family. I don't know how that works. I don't know how elemental family structure works. I know that there are rulers of the different elementals. I think the water elemental's leader is Neptulon. I think. I'm not sure. Pretty sure though. I think obviously it's a playoff of Neptune. And I think he's like eternally at war with Ragnaros, the leader of the fire elementals. We will eventually meet him, and I say that not because I intend to go into Molten Core, one of the early raids, but because I believe in the Cataclysm content there's a quest line where we actually end up fighting a version of him alongside various lore figures. So we will meet some elemental lords at some point or another. We'll be actually meeting some pretty big, important lore figures throughout the course of our experience here, which is actually, it's really cool for people who have played the earlier games, who know these heroes from the strategy games, for example. I mean, it was cool enough for me. Now, I started Warcraft with WoW. I think I bought Warcraft 3, but I never got into it because I'm not a big strategist. Strategy games are not my forte. I'm more of an action-adventure type. Zelda, Devil May Cry, Resident Evil. I know those don't necessarily correlate in the same genre, but the basic premise is I like action. Okay, I like games that require a lot of fighting is basically what it comes down to. So, strategy, not my thing. It's not my bag, baby. That was creepy. I'll never say that again. So anyway, I never really got into the Warcraft universe before WoW came around. And honestly, it's funny to think about now, but I remember when I first started this game. And it was at the behest of my former roommate. And I remember not having any clue what I was getting into when I started. The only thing I remember is I found out that there were druids, and you could transform into animals, and I was basically hooked from the word go. Funny thing is, WoW is known for being very accessible on any number of computers. That's one... Oh, here we go. Hold on. Hanging from beneath the fronds of this glowing plant is a large round fruit. Denelin would like to study this fruit, you're certain. Yet we must pick up the glowing fruit! Now then, like I said, WoW is known for being accessible on any number of computer systems. The graphics are not... The game itself, and it's not just graphics, that's not how computer games work, but it's not meant to be very system intensive, and any number of systems can play it. So the funny thing is, when I first got this game, the computer I had just barely was able to run it. And toward the end, I remember I ended up getting my first computer that I bought myself, specifically because the computer I had was no longer able to play WoW with any degree of actual playability. I was getting like 5 frames per second or something crazy like that, and it was just pitiful. But so yeah, I mean, I got my start here with Warcraft and with WoW, I mean, and so I don't know too many of the lore figures. Really, I know a handful of them. I've paid attention to the cinematics. I've watched, footage of some of the earlier games. I've paid attention to people that know this stuff, podcasts and all that. People like Total Biscuit and Jesse Cox and Kalimdor and all those people that have done plenty of coverage on the game and the universe. And so I know my way around, but I'm not entirely knowledgeable. So I can only imagine what it'd be like for those who really invested themselves in this series to see these lore figures, in a fully realized version of Azeroth. It's kind of incredible. So, do I have the seeds? I'm eager to plant them. Well, alright, we have seeds, so here you go. You got them! This is good. I'm hoping that careful study might lead me to understand where the Timberling corruption stems from. I will plant these seeds in special soil I've prepared. I believe the seeds will sprout into Timberlings who are much more docile. Perhaps later you can see the results. Klein, can you take one of the seeds you brought to me to my friend, Raylan Greenspire? He's a druid that resides at Wellspring Hovel, and when last we spoke, he revealed his interest in my work with the Timberlings. He had some ideas himself, and he'll appreciate a specimen seed to work with. Thank you, Klein. I hope that someday... Okay, sure, interrupt me, that's fine. Thank you! Felony? Nice work, Felony. Let us wait and be patient. Alright, now... We done? Okay, let's try this again. Thank you, Klein. I hope that someday you will see the fruit of my labors. You will find Wellspring Hovel along the road heading west out of Dalinar on the way to Darnassus. Alrighty, there we go. Now, let's see. Hello, Klein. Have you found any sprouts near the waters? That's a lot. Ugh, I'm afraid they're spreading at a dangerous rate. I hope I can solve the riddle of what is tainting them. Thank you for your help, Klein. The land is a cleaner place from your efforts. We'll take the gloves. Nice 6 armor. Alright. Glowing fruit! What do we got? Klein, you look like you have something to tell me. Do you have news concerning the Timberlings? No. Glowing apple. We found this on Teldrassil. Intriguing. This fruit is exotic. Perhaps its seeds were brought here from far off. Perhaps even as far as Azeroth. Huh? Whoops. That's weird. It looks like he's doing something with the seeds. Sorry about that. Bit of a mishap with I just clicked too quickly. But that's weird that he mentions Azeroth, because the thing is, Azeroth is the name of the world. I think he means the Eastern Kingdoms. That's the other continent, the ones where I know humans, I think dwarves and gnomes start there. I think Worgen do too, probably. And then if you make a Pandaren, if you pick the alliance, you end up starting yourself in the Eastern Kingdoms right around like level 10 to 15 or something like that. Now, Night Elves, Draenei, and is that it? That might be it. Wow. Well, at the very least, I could be wrong, but at the very least, Night Elves and Draenei start here in Kalimdor. So that's the only option I could think of when it comes to explaining why he would say that. Azeroth must mean Eastern Kingdoms. Because Kalimdor is the name of the supercontinent that was split in half by the Highborn, so, you know, who knows when they picked up the name Azeroth. Or it could just be as simple as, hey, there was a typo. I don't know. Because it could be that simple. We've run into typos before. So, anyway, we have to bring a Timberling seed to Relian Greenspire. But, you know what, actually? I think instead what we're going to do is save that for next time, since we're right here in Dolinar. And, oh no, there's a new quest from Carithris Moonrage! Uh-oh. You must now visit the moon well that rests under the boughs of the Oracle Tree, far to the northwest. The first and most powerful of our wells. Its waters are said to possess the very essence of Lune's powers. Retrieve a phial of its water and return to me. I will meet you at the crossroads in front of Darnassus when your task is complete. Excellent! I will do your bidding, Moonrage. But, again, we will save those quests for next time. We're gonna rest here at the inn and clean up our action bar a little bit. There we go. And we're gonna save that for episode 6? Yeah. Alrighty, Klein. You must be tired. It's been a week of adventuring for you, so why don't you lay on down and have a nap? Alrighty. We're gonna let her sleep. There we go. Nighty-night, Klein. Alrighty, guys. Tomorrow should be a Resident Evil video, so I will see you next week.